Hey y'all, how you doing today? Did you know this most tree behind me is medicine? I believe the leaves are as well, but the blossoms there, the little pink blossoms, they're supposed to help you out with depression. They're antidepressant. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you today. I've been meaning to make this video for a little while now, but I've been dealing with back issues, my upper thoracic or so, and further degradation in my lumbar spine. But thanks to a friend who sent us out some wild lettuce body butter, I'm walking around and doing a little bit better. I'm not gonna say I'm doing perfect. Not 100% certain what's going on with it. Need to get some imaging done to really know for certain, but I'm moving, and that's the most important thing. That's one thing I've learned with this over a decade dealing with a bad back is you gotta keep moving. If you lie around all day, it's just gonna make it worse. You really gotta be walking around and moving. But anyways, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. This here is a legume that we were educated on, I believe it was last year, if not the year before. We were suspicious that we did have some here on the land, but we weren't for certain. We did confirm last year by the blossoms, which should be coming on soon. And actually, if you look real nice and close, there's a couple blooms fixing to come on. Now, speaking of the blooms, they do typically come on about mid-summer in general. 2 to 4 inch clusters off the axial and median leaves, and about 2 to 4 inch clusters, and the blossoms themselves will be less than an inch, typically white. And what this plant is, and some of y'all might recognize the name from us talking about it before, but this is Sericea Lespedeza. It is a legume, and it is known by its common name, Chinese bush clover. And like I said, it tends to bloom midsummer, and then in the fall, sometime after September, it'll go to seed. This can be considered invasive because it does like to spread, especially without good management. You can see here, I mean, we have a good stretch of hillside just right here alone, and then the field down below where we are growing the oak and maple saplings. I'm gonna have to double check if I ever posted that. We ate up some of that, and it had some Sericea Lespedeza in. Anyways, so the Sericea Lespedeza is a perennial legume native to Eastern Asia, not to be mistaken with Korean Lespedeza, which is an annual, so that you'd have to seed every year. As far as being a beekeeper, I would prefer the Korean Lespedeza, as that has the better nectar production. However, when it comes to any sort of Lespedeza, bees just ain't really that big on them. They'll go to it, but if there's something better around, they're going to go to it. And considering the time that they bloom, there's a lot better forage for them, so most times you won't find the bees on them. So like I said, it's native to Eastern Asia, Chinese bush clover, Sericea Lespedeza, in the legume family. It was originally introduced to provide soil erosion protection, forage for livestock, as well as food or ground cover for wildlife. They do grow tall. For foraging your livestock over about 6 to 12 inches is a good height. No more than 48 inches. There's different methods of managing it. Same for eradicating it. You can burn it. You can over forage it with your livestock. There's several different ways about going about it. The information is all readily available online. But that's basically why it was brought here, was to provide soil erosion protection, forage for livestock, and food cover for wildlife. That was their purpose and intent in bringing it here. There are human benefits to ingesting the Sericea Lespedeza. Some websites will contest that should be kept to a minimum, so it's always wise to talk with your dietitian or doctor and make sure it's not going to be something that's going to interact with your medications you may be on, or any sort of illness that you might be living with. In humans, it can lower blood cholesterol levels and remove nitrogenous compounds from the blood. It's considered antioxidant, antimicrobial. However, like I said, caution should be taken. You shouldn't take it without consulting your dietitian or your primary care provider, as it does contain high levels of tannins. Tannins in themselves can be very beneficial to the human body, but because it does bond to proteins and whatnot, protein starches and alkaloids, it's best to take caution in that. Pregnant and nursing women really ought to avoid anything that's high in tannin. Some of the risks that they associate with tannins is because of the fact it binds to proteins, starches, and alkaloids. It can cause you some issues, especially in higher doses. They say that it can damage absorption of essential minerals such as iron, zinc, and calcium. Especially iron and zinc; those are very vital minerals when you're pregnant and nursing. So anything that's blocking that absorption just would not be good. So that's why they recommend for pregnant and nursing women not to absorb especially high tannin foods, calcium, and any of those three. Really, for anybody, those are critical or essential, minerals. Deficiencies of those can be very costly to your health, up to including possibly death. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just letting you know what my research has shown me. That's why I'm telling you, if you're gonna look into ingesting any, I wouldn't do it without talking with your dietitian or your doctor, preferably both. But getting back on track, why they first introduced this was for livestock, and so we're going to talk about that. So staying in line with the subject of high tannin food, we're going to get back onto track with talking about the original reason why it was introduced, or one of the reasons, and that was forage for livestock. And the reason why is it's a high tannin forage that can actually help reduce internal parasites in goats, particularly the barber pole worm. It's one of the main things that'll impact them. And so feeding them the Sericea Lespedeza And it's going to depend. You might have to play around with it with your own herd to see exactly how frequently and how much that they're really going to need to ingest to keep them healthy. Scientists themselves haven't really come to an exact number on it themselves, so keep an eye on it. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend feeding it year round. Going back to our human talk on that, it does bind to the proteins and does make it difficult for the absorption of certain minerals and whatnot. So it's good to keep things within moderation. As with anything, too much of a good thing is always going to be a bad thing. So take this all within moderation. I would not go in crazy amounts of excess. So I definitely wouldn't feed Sericea Lespedeza to them long term. Granted, it also only grows for a certain season. We plan to let it go to seed. Let the seed spread. We're probably going to take the heads of the blossoms off and seed it where we want it to grow. And then at that point, then we're going to take the weed eater to it and cut it down, and then we'll tie it up in little bundles, and we'll feed those bundles to the goats. 1, 2, 3 bundles at a time. Probably do a bundle per goat at a time, and that'll provide them a little bit of extra winter forage and food to kind of supplement their diet when there's not a whole lot growing. We've tried feeding it to them mulched, and they'd kind of eat it, some of them, but there's still plenty of good vegetation, so they're going for that over anything that we're giving them in addition, besides the grain. I mean, they love their grain, their sweet feed. But over the late fall and throughout the winter, we'll feed the mulched tim after it goes to seed, and we collect the blossoms. We'll feed them the mulch, and if they don't like that, then after the mulch, then after seed, we'll cut down the green that we have growing where we cut the mulched. That should be growing back up by that point as well. I guess we'll see if that goes to seed this year or not. Not a big deal, as we'll have plenty of seed from up top here where I was just showing you on Thunder Hill. Yeah, you definitely want to have an integral management strategy for small ruminants. It's a great way to escape the trap of chemicals and poisons to manage your parasite loads in your goats versus having to give them some sort of chemical or something along those lines. It's always better to go natural. That's our personal belief. But we hope that you've learned something about the Sericea Lespedeza today. Hope that you take it, do your own research and see if that's something that you'd be interested in doing. Like I said at the beginning, it can be invasive. It can spread pretty easily if not maintained. There's plenty of information online that you can find to help you figure out good ways to get it under control. If it gets too wild, there's easy ways to I don't know. I'd say easy, but there's certainly ways you can go about to eradicate it if need be. Lots and lots of mowing it. That can help cut it down. So mowing it. Control burns. The best time of year to burn it is about September, right before it goes to seed. That'll help prevent the spread. If you go online and look into it, there's definitely a plethora of different ways you can go about stamping it out. If it's getting too out of control, you can graze them heavily over it, your livestock, and it's said to be good for not just the goats, but sheep and cow. I believe the gentleman that told me about it, he even runs it through his horses. So there's plenty of good uses for it if you're able to manage it and keep it under control. But with that, we do want to thank you for your time. We appreciate each and every one of y'all who stopped by and listened to us go on like I just done. But we hope that you learned something from it. We appreciate each and every single one of y'all that tune in. Hope that you have a blessed and productive day. Y'all stay blessed now.